Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, bringing awareness against mail carrier dog attacks, where a new report ranks Florida and what Postal Service leaders say dog owners can do to keep them from happening. Plus, more Floridians are looking for insurance as we head into what no AA officials say will be a more active hurricane season. What insurance companies say homeowners need to do to make sure they're properly covered. And some much-needed showers popping up across north central Florida. The UF weather team is timing out when we will see some rain. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Dogs are man's best friend, but can be a mailman's worst enemy. USPS has declared June 2nd through June 9th National Dog Bite Awareness Week. This is WUFT's First at 5. I'm Noelimary Suarez. WUFT's Bianca Smith researched the best way to protect postal workers.
Just last year in Plaka, a dog mauled a postal worker to death. More than 5,800 postal employees were attacked by dogs in 2023. That's 500 more bites than in 2022. As a result, USPS started a campaign to address the importance of this public issue. North Florida had 193 dog bites on USPS employees in 2023, ranking Florida number 7 in the nation for dog bites. Patty Summerlin.
Well, it makes me sad because it is blamed on the dog.
Has 4 dogs ranging from a year old to 15 years old. This dog lover says the key to safety is socialization. She sympathizes with mail carriers. Her granddaughter was bitten by a dog.
And I think if the owners try to be more responsible in raising their babies the right way, then maybe you have less of a chance of that happening.
USPS released tips for protecting mail carriers. Keep your dog on a leash, in another room, or behind a fence. This year's theme is Don't Let Your Dog Bite the Hand That Serves You. USPS says they're using the hashtag Dog Bite Awareness to bring attention to the cause. Susan Price Douglas was attacked by a dog years ago. She is thankful for a week that helps shine light on the situation.
A lot of stuff we take for granted. You know what I'm saying? And dog bites ain't no joke.
USPS says the aim, to keep mail carriers, dogs, and customers safe. The consequences of a dog attack on a USPS employee, according to the Insurance Information Institute, is $64,555 in bills. If mail carriers feel unsafe in a house or a neighborhood, they are allowed to suspend mail services. Reporting live in studio, Bianca Smith, WUFT News.
North Central Florida could see some relief from the heat as soon as tomorrow. You're taking a live look outside from our DOT camera where it was another hot day on tap. But showers are in our forecast starting tomorrow evening. UF forecaster Carol Rydberg is timing out the rain in your forecast.
Canvas cam behind me shows a couple clouds in the vicinity. We can even see a little bit of rain going on right behind the stadium. Right now our winds are coming out of the east at 7 miles per hour, and if the temperature is currently 88 degrees. Our current temperatures across the board show pretty much consistent 80s, high 80s, low 90s, even 90 in Palatka. Right now our storm tracker is showing storms in northern Georgia and southern Alabama, but nothing too specific. Zooming into north central Florida, we can see again a couple scattered storms across the area. Coming up, we'll be discussing how storms are ending tonight, but we're not out of the woods yet. More storms tomorrow, and we can expect a hot and humid weekend.
Florida Fish and Wildlife just put out an alert this afternoon about an uptick in bear activity in parts of Ocala. FWC officers say it's due to migration. They're asking neighbors to secure your trash, remove items that may attract them, and stay alert. They're urging you not to approach the animals and do not feed them. If there are any conflicts with bears in your area, you should call the Florida Wildlife Commission and report it. Deputies in Columbia discovered several dozen pounds of drugs and arrested 2 men after executing a search warrant late last night. 27-year-old Justin Hall and 27-year-old Zachary Hill both face drug traffickers trafficking charges. During the search, investigators say 40 pounds of marijuana and cocaine were among the drugs found. In addition to that, detectives discovered 9 guns and more than $20,000 in cash. Hall was also charged with child neglect. Deputies say the child was at home in his care when the drug bust happened. The state's citizen property insurance added nearly 5,000 policies last week before the annual hurricane season started Saturday. According to data posted by the company, Citizens had more than 1 million policies as of Friday. Citizens has seen overall reductions, with private insurers assuming policies through what is known as a depopulation program. That's when private insurers receive approval from state regulators to take batches of citizen policies. Citizens spokesman Michael Peltier says policy takeouts are not expected in the coming months as insurers stay away from additional risks during the hurricane season.
We will see our policy count tick up as the hurricane season progresses. As we get towards the end of the year, however, our depopulation program becomes more popular with private companies, and so we will see policies leaving Citizens later in the year.
Citizens, which was created as an insurer of last resort, has become the state's largest carrier in recent years of private companies dropped policies and raised rates because of financial problems. Teenage girls and young women at risk of sex trafficking now have a new safe haven in Marion County. County leaders announced their partnership with the nonprofit Hands of Mercy Everywhere to provide new housing for them. The facilities will house teenage mothers and the children and provide everyone with psychological, emotional, and spiritual care. The county was able to renovate the homes due to a community development block grant. Hands of Mercy Everywhere is a nonprofit that was founded back in 2004 to provide at-risk girls with resources like career development and counseling. Students who need a meal over the summer can go to several dozens of locations in Marion County starting this week. Marion County Public Schools is offering free breakfast and lunch to all students 18 years and younger, no questions asked. Students can simply show up at the location closest to them. The district's summer food service program anticipates serving over 150,000 meals at 43 schools and 14 satellite locations. The program continues through July 18th at some locations. To find the location nearest you, head to our website, WUFT.org. We've put up a list of locations for you. Ocala leaders are inviting neighbors to the grand opening ceremony of the city's new park. The ceremony for the Imagine North Magnolia Park at Marion Heights is set for Wednesday evening. The grand opening event is set to feature the police department's Polar Patrol and Ocala Ranger Urban Wildlife Program. Leaders say the new park will address the removal of physical and economic blight. The ceremony starts at 5:30. Coming up next, when First at 5 returns, President Biden making an executive decision on border security. Why Republicans say he's just trying to shore up votes. And a near mass casualty incident is avoided at a Miami condo, what alerted fire officials to jump into action to save dozens of residents.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
To better streamline the large amounts of people trying to cross the country's southern border. Immigration is shaping up to be a major issue in the November election, and the president is set to sign an executive order to address. As Bree Jackson reports, the order would close the border if too many people try to cross in a day.
Facing intense political pressure over illegal immigration, President Biden signing an executive order that temporarily shuts down the U.S.-Mexico border to asylum seekers if illegal crossings exceed 2,500 a day.
I've come here today to do what the Republicans in Congress refuse to do, take the necessary steps to secure our border.
Republicans blasted the move, claiming the president is only taking action now to boost his approval ratings ahead of the November election.
This is like turning a garden hose on a five-alarm fire, and the American people are not fools.
Former President Trump, the presumptive GOP nominee, holds a decisive 30-point edge among registered voters when asked who would handle immigration and border security better.
The truth is that Joe Biden's executive order won't stop the invasion. It's weak and it's pathetic.
But under Trump's urging, Republicans torpedoed a bipartisan border funding bill earlier this year. Top Democrats contend President Biden had to take executive action instead.
The president is left with little choice but to act on his own.
Right now, the average number of encounters is near 4,000 a day, suggesting this shutdown could go into effect immediately. The border would reopen when daily numbers drop below 1,500. But that has not happened in nearly 4 years.
What this is going to create is more chaos at the border.
A political fight over the border that is sure to spark legal battles. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
A federal appeals court says it will no longer accept complaints about Florida Judge Aileen Cannon. She's the federal judge presiding over the classified documents case against former President Donald Trump. Last month, the appeals court received more than 1,000 complaints about her. Officials believe the complaints are part of an orchestrated campaign. Cannon announced last month she was indefinitely postponing the start of the trial. Some of the complaints have questioned her rulings or her delays of proceedings. Trump appointed Cannon to the federal bench in 2020. Almost 24 residents were taken to hospitals and dozens more were evacuated after a carbon monoxide leak in southwest Miami-Dade early this morning. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue says 60 people were assessed at the Hemingway Villa condos. The deputy fire chief says 22 were taken to the hospital and there are no fatalities. He says the gas leak appears to be a malfunctioning boiler in a small room at the back of the building. The fire chief says they responded to 2 calls from the building. A second set of alarms were triggered and firefighters knew to evacuate the building.
They took swift action, which triggered a mass casualty and a hazardous materials response, bringing over 20 of our apparatus to the scene to deal with this emergency.
Authorities said they were ventilating the building and expected residents to be able to get back in later today, pending code enforcement approval. Registration is now open for this year's annual Python Challenge. This year, participants will have the chance to win a share of more than $25,000 in prizes for removing Burmese pythons. If you're interested in participating, you must complete the required online training. The 10-day competition runs from August 9th to August 18th. It's open to both professional and amateur participants. Last year's hunt removed more than 200 of the invasive species. Showers are popping up on this hot Tuesday. I will track the storms next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Looking out near the Century Tower, we can see pretty clear skies, a couple clouds here and there, with our winds coming in at 7 miles per hour from the east with a temperature of around 88 degrees. Looking across north central Florida, we can see temperatures right around that area again, high 80s, low 90s. Looking at our temperature change, we can see nearly a 4-degree increase from this time yesterday all across Ocala, Gainesville, Stark. Looking at areas like Tallahassee and Perry, we can even see double-digit increase. This is due to the rain that was affecting the area yesterday. Looking at our storm tracker, we can see northern Georgia and southern Alabama experiencing a few scattered storms that are bringing heavy rains and rains. So looking at north central Florida, we can zoom in and it's a pretty similar idea where the rains are scattered across, bringing heavy showers. Looking at Chiefland and Bronson, we can see some pretty heavy storms as well. Looking at our hour by hour, we can see right around 7 p.m. we can see the scattered storms. And then as we go deeper into the night, we can see the temperature cooling off all the way to the low 70s by 5 a.m. Looking at what's coming tomorrow at 8 a.m., we can see fog possible, 73 degrees. As we go into the afternoon showers are going to be affecting us at 94 degrees. Looking at the future track, we can see at 7 p.m. a couple of showers here and there moving into the night we can see the storms overall clearing up. Looking at the 7-day outlook, Wednesday through Friday, lots of storms in the mid-90s. Saturday and Sunday, clear, high temperatures. Monday, we can see pretty high temperatures and a little bit of rain.
Coming up in sports, Gators softball just lost a heartbreaker in extra innings to Oklahoma just minutes ago. Also, Gators baseball beat Oklahoma State to advance to the Clemson Super Regional. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Happy Tuesday, I'm Daniel Haviv. Let's talk some sports. In devastating fashion moments ago, Gators softball lost 6-5 in extra innings in the semifinals of the College World Series. In a game that Florida dominated much of from the beginning, Oklahoma did not give up and showed exactly why they have won the last 3 national championships. Every time the Gators scored, the Sooners would come right back and score some runs of their own. The game was ultimately decided by a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Oklahoma will advance to the championship series against the #1 seeded Texas Longhorns tomorrow. Gators baseball left the Stillwater Regional yesterday with 2 straight wins over Oklahoma State and a trip booked to the Clemson Super Regional. At the top of the 9th inning, the Florida pitcher Fisher Jamison struck out Cowboy Tyler Wolfert to secure their spot in the Super Regionals. At the Stillwater Regional, the Gators went 4-1 with 2 wins over Nebraska and Oklahoma State. Coming into the tournament, there was much debate as to whether this Gators team should have made it. Nonetheless, they shocked the world and advanced to the next round. They'll face the 6-seeded Clemson Tigers in the Supers. Gators star Jack Caglione talks about the team effort that was necessary to get the win.
I mean, it means everything. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't even be the one wearing this headset. You know, Fisher Jamison, Jake Clemente, Frank, all these guys held their ground. You know, we were asking for them to just go out and do their job, and that's exactly what they did. Like you said, ups and downs throughout the years, but honestly, none of that matters now. We're in the postseason, so.
Florida will head to Clemson and face the Tigers in a best-of-3 series beginning this coming Saturday with a chance to advance to Omaha. In addition, there are 4 other SEC teams that will compete in the Super Regionals. The #1 seeded Tennessee Volunteers face Evansville, #2 Kentucky takes on Oregon State, #3 Texas A&M hosts Oregon, and the 7-seeded Georgia Bulldogs clash with NC State. The Florida High School Athletic Association voted today to allow high school athletes to sign name, image, and likeness deals without forfeiting their right to play sports at the high school level. Under the bill, the FHSAA will now allow high school students to earn money from potential NIL deals. One of the stated rules is that schools won't be able to create or associate with any collectives like at the collegiate level. This new rule will take effect before the 24-25 season, meaning that some Florida high school athletes could start signing NIL deals in the coming months. Florida now joins more than 30 other states in allowing NIL in high school athletics. And one last note, Gators track and field is competing at the NCAA Outdoor Championships in Eugene, Oregon, beginning tomorrow and into the weekend.
And before we go, one last check on the weather.
Currently looking at some pretty stormy conditions throughout the week, in the mid to high 90s throughout the week. On Saturday and Sunday, we can actually possibly expect a good chance of experiencing some sunshine.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5. But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.